Welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Menzie, and we've got a show for you today. Happy opening day, first of all. Got to get that out of the way. It is a very happy day for all baseball fans, I can tell you that right now. So the first segment we'll be talking about today is my AL standings predictions. After that, we'll be going into the NL standings predictions. Then we'll be talking about 5 opening day matchups I'd be watching. And finally, we'll be going into some general news stories around the league. So before we do that, I would like to ask you to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read in the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. It really does help the show, and it really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. And let's get straight into the show today. So, as I said before, it is opening day. I am very excited personally. I think everyone else is. It is officially opening day, as about 5 minutes before I went live, Mike Trout hit the first home run of the MLB season. Very fitting for a player like Trout to do it. And basically the season's officially underway, so I could not be more excited. So the first thing I do want to talk about is just steering kind of a little bit away from opening day. It is my standings predictions. So I've done my playoff predictions and my award predictions yesterday, but I did not get into my general standings predictions for each division. So we'll be talking about that. And let's get straight into it. So first we'll be starting off with the AL for our first segment. So starting off the AL East. We'll be going from 5-1 for the East, Central, and then West. So, for number 5 in the AL East, I am going to be having the Boston Red Sox. Now, I don't think this is much of a surprise to anyone. I want to make it clear that this is not an indictment against the Red Sox. I don't think they're that bad. I really don't. It's just every team in that division is better than them, pretty simply put. I think the Red Sox are probably somewhere from 78 to an 82 win team. Just absolutely mediocre. And I think the teams above them in this division are better than mediocre. I think they're pretty good. So it's not really, again, a thing for the Red Sox. It's just the division they find themselves in. It's very, very good. So they're going to have a lot of good teams in that division. So that's why I do have them at number 5 here. At number 4, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, kind of a surprise, I think, for maybe some people who are expecting them to be number 3. But I've talked about this a few times now. I'm just not that high in them going into the year. They have a lot of talent, don't get me wrong, but I think they have too many question marks for me to put them at number 3. First of all, shortstop position, I mean, what's going on with that? I have no idea. Obviously, you lost Wander Franco in the offseason because of some legal issues. We'll be talking about that later as well. So you have a lot up in the air there with Ahmed Rosario, Jose Caballero, and Taylor Walls being the main guys there. You have a lot of pitching loss like Jeffrey Springs, Shane McClanahan. So I think that's also another question mark there. So I just think there's too many question marks going on with this Rays team right now for me to put them above the teams in the AL East. I still think the Rays are very good. They have a lot of great players, of course. Randy Arozarena, Isaac Paredes. Of course, they have some nice pitchers as well on this team. So I don't think that, again, it's just that they're awful. It's just I think there's better teams above them. So that's just simply it. So I do have them at number 4 here. At number 3, I am going to be having the Toronto Blue Jays. The Blue Jays and Rays were very neck and neck for me to see who would be number 3 in the division, but I ultimately went the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays just have more talent, simply put, right now. I think their pitching staff is one of the best in the leagues with just so many stars. Kevin Gausman, Jose Barrios. I'm forgetting some people here, but I mean, obviously they have a lot more. They have Chris Bassett as well, who I forgot for some reason. So their pitching staff is just truly incredible, and I think that's honestly one of their biggest strong suits. So again, I think they could have done a lot more this offseason. I do think that, but I think looking at their pitching staff, looking at the talent their hitting core has as well, overall, I do think they will end up finishing 3rd in this division. And hopefully they finally live up to their potential, because they kind of haven't for the past few seasons now. So yeah, definitely excited to watch them, and definitely hopeful to see how they do perform. Also have Yusei Kikuchi, of course, and Alek Manoah, who is kind of a question mark. But Barrios, Bassett, Gausman, pretty great starting rotation. Added Yari Rodriguez in the offseason as well. So overall, very nice. After that, we have at number 2, as you know from last episode, you know who it is. It's going to be the New York Yankees. I do not have the Yankees number 1 just because of injury. I think they are a better team than the Orioles when fully healthy. But when you lose probably your best player to injury, that is going to affect your season a lot. And not only that, Judge is a little bit banged up. Their pitching staff after Cole isn't the greatest, with some injury risks as well to those guys. So overall, I think the Yankees are a great team. It's just I think injuries fit them hard so far. So that's why I do have them at number 2 below the Orioles. The Orioles have suffered some injury risk themselves, yes, with Kyle Bradish getting out and some of their young hitters as well, but I think it's hit them less, and I think that since their ace is still there in Corbin Burns, they have some nice guys behind him like Grayson Rodriguez, John Means, Dean Kramer, some other young pitching guys who may come up during the season. I do think that the Orioles are better than the Yankees, and I think they will build off that 101 win season last year to win the AL East crown again. I did have them as the number 1 seed in the AL in my last episode, so take that as you will. So that is the AL East there. I have Orioles at first, Yankees in second, Blue Jays in third, Rays in fourth, and Red Sox in fifth. Going to the AL Central now, this is a very interesting division. There was a lot of turnover with this division in the offseason, so we'll be talking about that. But first, let's start off with the easy one. Number 5, we all know who it is. It's the White Sox. I think the White Sox are pretty clearly the second worst team in baseball. No one's worse than the A's, but I think the White Sox are pretty close. Not really a surprise here. They don't really have any redeeming qualities about themselves right now. They traded one of their actual good players in Dylan Cease, as they should have, I might add. They're very clearly in a rebuild. They very clearly are not trying to compete, so I don't think it's just anything shocking to say they're the worst team in the American League Central and the second worst team in all of baseball. The only real good thing they have right now going for them is Luis Robert, who is a superstar, I'd say. But after that, there's really not much else going on there. So, yeah, I'd put the White Sox at 5, and I don't think that's saying anything too crazy here. At number 4, I have the Cleveland Guardians. Now, I might be a little bit lower on the Guardians than a lot of people. I just don't really believe in this team, simply put. They have some good pitching arms, but there's a lot of injury risk there. First of all, if Tristan McKenzie, who was injured a big part of last year, Gavin Williams is already hurt for them. Shane Bieber, it might be a trade candidate at the trade deadline. And then their hitting is just not that good. They don't really have that big bat. I mean, they have Andres Jimenez, Jose Ramirez, Ramirez is a superstar, obviously. Jimenez is a good player, and then kind of after that, there's not much. You have Kyle Manzardo, but he's not even starting the year, and they won't be a roster. So, yeah, I'm just not very high in this team. I don't think they're very good, and I think they have to try to figure out a direction for this organization to go in and just not stay in mediocrity, simply put. So, at number 3, I have the Kansas City Royals. The Royals were the big surprise of the offseason, signing so many players in a few days. I honestly loved all their signings, and I'm glad they're trying to compete now. And I agree with their decision to try to compete. Honestly, I do think their window is open, and that's why I have them at number 3 and not number 5 or number 4 like we've had all these past few years. I think their pitching staff is pretty good, honestly. Cole Reagans, Brady Singer, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo. I think those are 4 really solid starting pitchers. I think Reagans is a superstar. I am second in AL Cy Young voting. I think Singer's really, really good. I think Lugo's really, really good. I think Wacha's good. So I love the rotation. Bobby Witt Jr. is a great franchise guy at shortstop. Vinny Pasquantino's shown a lot at first base and DH. MJ Melendez is a really nice outfielder, but I kind of just think their pieces around are not great. Michael Garcia is good, but again, there's just not that much great stuff after that. I think their bullpen's kind of a miss, and the lineup outside of those main 3-4 core guys is just not that great. So I think the Royals are building upon something, and I think they'll be really good next year. But for this year right now, I have them at number 3. I do think they are an above-average team, but they're not amazing by any stretch of the imagination, unfortunately, for right now. At number 2, I have the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers had a lot of great moves this offseason, which I would be very happy about if I was a Tigers fan. First of all, they extended Colt Keith, was a really nice job by them, one of their top prospects. Sweet swinging lefty, second baseman, third baseman, a guy I am really high on for the future, and I think he's going to be very, very good. After that, trading for Marcano was a really nice move to get a veteran bat in there. Signing Gio Urshela was nice. Signing Jack Flaherty was a great add to the pitching staff. Kenta Maeda was a great add. Shelby Miller was a beautiful add to that bullpen. Same with Andrew Chafin. So I love what they did this offseason. I think they have other young players as well on this team, like Riley Green, like Spencer Torkelson, like Parker Meadows, who are also going to help with this team and getting them past that threshold of just mediocrity. And I don't think they'll compete with the AL Central crown, because I think the number 1 team, who we all know who it is at this point, is just simply much better than them. But I think both the Tigers and the Royals, I'll say, are building something and have clear visions for the first time in a long time. So if I was a Tigers fan or I was a Royals fan, I'd be very excited about the future, and I'd be very excited to see where my team does end up going. And number 1, of course, the only team left in the AL Central, no surprise here, the Minnesota Twins. The Twins finally won a playoff series last year and did win the Central, and for good reason. I think they're a pretty great team. I think they have a lot of great players. I think their rotation, first of all, is very, very good. Pablo Lopez is great. Joe Ryan is great. Bailey Ober is great. Even the younger guys like Chris Paddock, Simeon Woods-Richardson, Louis Varland, they're all really nice. So, yeah, I think that all these guys are pretty great and honestly just are going to fill out a very nice Twins pitching staff. I think they improve with the bullpen. I think the hitting core has always been pretty above average as well. Carlos Correa is hopefully going to bounce back. So is Byron Buxton. Added Carlos Santana, which I think was a nice add. So, yeah, really high in this Twins team. I think they're going to go far. And, yeah, I think they have a really nice team overall. Finally, let's move on to the AL West here. At number 5, I have, of course, the Oakland A's. Not much is needed to spend much time on them here. They're really bad. They don't have any redeeming qualities right now. They have some okay young players, but that's kind of it. If I'm an A's fan, I don't even know if I'd be an A's fan after this whole debacle of them moving. So I'm not even sure if they're going to be called the A's in 2 years. So this organization is not going anywhere positive. I think everyone in baseball knows that. Even A's fans know that. So, yeah, not much to say about this A's team and organization here. They're not very good, and they're not doing very well so far. Number 4, we have the Angels, who I talked about before. Good job for them. They just hit the first home run of the season. It was Mike Trout, of course, so great job by them to start the season off on a good foot. But, yeah, I have the Angels at number 4. I don't think they're that good, personally. I talked about them before as I think they're building something nice, which I do agree on still. I think Zach Neto, Logan O'Hoppe, Nolan Shanuel, Mickey Moniak are all nice pieces for the future. Some other guys who could come up as well, like Nelson Rada in the future. So I think the Angels are building some nice core there, but when you don't win that many games last year and then you lose the best player in baseball, for nothing, of course, because he left as a free agent, I don't think you're going to be that good. And that's still my thought process. I think they're going to be good in the future. I think they are building something, but right now they're not very good. And that's all I got to say about them. They'll be good in the future, but as of right now, as of today, March 28th, 2024, they're not very good. And I think they're building something again, but right now they're not amazing. Number 3, now I had all 3 of these top teams making the playoffs. If you watched my yesterday episode, if you did not, go ahead and watch that. I have the AL playoff predictions, and then the day before that, I did NL with a guest. So if you want to watch those and see my full predictions, feel free to. I think it's pretty good content. I did make it. So number 3, I have the defending world champion Texas Rangers. Now, this could be a little low for them because they are defending world champions, but as I've stated before, their pitching is just not good. Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, Tyler Mahle, all out for a significant amount of time, relying heavily on guys like John Gray, Andrew Heaney, Dane Dunning. So, yeah, I mean, it's not great right now. It'll be better in the second half, and their hitting is still absolutely incredible, but that's why I do have them making the playoffs. But as of right now, the pitching is just not where it needs to be, and that's why I do have them finishing number 3 in this division. Number 2, I have the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners, I think, are finally going to make it back to the playoffs and have a great young team. I think their pitching staff is absolutely phenomenal. Luis Castillo, Emerson Hancock, George Kirby. Brian Wu got hurt, but when he comes back, he'll be very good. So I think that's great. I think they added a lot to this lineup. Jorge Polanco, Mitch Garver. You already have J.P. Crawford. You already have Julio Rodriguez, of course. So I think the Mariners have a lot going for them right now. I think they're going to be very good for the upcoming year. And, yeah, I'm really excited to watch them and see what does happen with this team. So, yeah. And, of course, at number 1, we have the Houston Astros. Who else? Not going to spend too much time on them because we know about the Astros already. We know how good they are. So, yeah, it's the Astros. They have amazing players. They suffered some injuries early with Jose Urquidy, Justin Verlander, but I think they do have enough pitching depth right now to survive it just for a little bit, and I don't think they should be long-term injuries. So, yeah, they're still pretty great. Their hitting core is absolutely amazing. Their pitching's great. So, yeah, overall, I think they're a pretty great team, and I'm really looking forward to watching them this year and excited to see what they do. So, yeah. So those are my standings predictions for the American League. I have the Orioles, Twins, and Astros as the winners of each division, and then watched yesterday's episode if you would like to see who I have making the playoffs. So, yeah, that's this end of segment 1, talking about my AL standings predictions for the upcoming year. we'll be going to our segment 2 here, which is going to be talking about our NL standing predictions. So, yeah, we'll be doing that straight away. And we'll see you after the break. So, thanks, and we'll update you if anything else happens in the games while I'm on break. So, see you then. See you after that. Bye.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our second segment. But before we do that, I would like to ask you again to please like and follow the show. We do get a number of questions from viewers, so to ensure that your question does get read on the air, please use the link gsmcpodcast.net. Really does help the show. Really does mean a lot, so thank you so much for that. All right, we're going to go into our second segment here, which is talking about my NL standings predictions. Now, before we do that, I would like to mention that while I was on break, the Orioles scored twice and made it 2-1 over them. Obviously, it was 1-0 Angels after Mike Trout hit a solo home run to start the year. But Anthony Santander hit a force out with the bases loaded to score a run. And then after that, we have Jordan Westerberg hitting an RBI single to score Adley Rutschman to make it 2-1 Orioles. And it is now bottom of the second with the Orioles up and man on first, no outs for them with Jorge Mateo up. So, again, while games are happening, we'll be giving some updates. I'll be giving a lot of those in the last segment as well. So, yeah, we'll be doing that. And let's get straight into our second segment now, which is going to be talking about some NL standings predictions. So, yeah. So first, we're going to start off with the NL East, and it's going to be the same format as last segment. So, let's get straight into that. So, first, we're going to start off with number 5 of the NL East, and no surprise, it is the Washington Nationals. Now, I very much debated having the Nationals be the number 4 team and the number 4 team being the number 5 team. We'll talk about, but because I do think the Nationals do have a lot going for them. I think they have a lot of good young players. C.J. Abrams, you have James Wood coming up, Mackenzie Gore, Josiah Gray, Keibert Ruiz. You have Robert Hassel coming up, Dylan Cruz, of course. So I think the Nationals have a lot going for them, and if everything does go right, they could be a pretty okay team. But in the end, I just didn't know if that was all going to happen, and I went with my gut, and I put them at number 5 here. Again, I think they have a lot going for them in the future, but as of right now, it's not for them right now, and that's kind of it. Number 4, I have the Miami Marlins. So, yes, I was very close to putting the Marlins as my number 5 team in the NL East. I did not, so take that as what you will. But, yeah, the Marlins are still a fine team. I mean, they did make the playoffs last year, but they subtracted from that a lot, of course, with the notable move of being Jorge Soler, losing him, and they've gotten hit really bad with injuries. First of all, Sandy Alcantara's hurt. Yuri Perez just got hurt. So they still have a nice pitching staff with guys like Braxton Garrett there. You have Jesus Luzardo, of course. Noble Mayer, who could come up soon. Max Mayer also made the MLB roster. So the Marlins have some nice pieces, but overall, I don't think it's their year. And that's just because I think they are gearing towards more of a rebuild. I think Peter Bendix came in there, saw the team, and decided a rebuild was the best course of action. So not going to really argue with him. He's a very smart guy and from the Rays, so not going to, again, argue with him there. So, yeah, I do have the Marlins at number 4. And, yeah, number 3, I have the New York Mets. I think the Mets had a nice offseason personally. I think they added a lot of buy low, get high results pieces. Guys like Luis Severino, Sean Manaea, Shintaro Fujinami, who hasn't worked out so far. He just got optioned to the minor leagues. But I think with both Severino and Manaea have very low floors, which means that if they're going to be bad, they're going to be real bad. But I think if they're going to be good, they're going to be really good. So I like the moves they did make. I think the Harrison Bader move was nice. I think overall the other pitching depth moves they made, like getting Adrian Hauser, were nice as well. So, yeah, I do think the Mets are an okay team. It's just I don't think they're better than the two teams above them in the NL East, which we all know who they are, and I don't think anyone's going to be disagreeing with me. So, yeah, I think the Mets are fine. It's just that's kind of it. They're just fine. So I think they need to try to I think they need to try to be more competitive and just try and overall put the team together. So, yeah, I think they have all the talent in the world with superstars like Francisco Lindor, like Pete Alonso, but I think just they're number 3 right now, and I don't think much is going to change that. At number 2, I have here the Philadelphia Phillies. No surprises. The Phillies are a great team. Not really much to say here. They didn't add that much this offseason, but they kind of didn't need to add that much. They already have a great team with guys like Zach Wheeler. They re-signed Aaron Nola, which was nice. I mean, the hitting core is obviously amazing. JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper, Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh, Johan Rojas, Kyle Schwarber. So they have a great team already. I would have liked to see them add one more piece maybe. I think they're fine without it, but I still think it would have been nice. I thought they were going to be a sleeper for Jordan Montgomery. Obviously, that didn't end up happening. So, yeah, I think they're a good team. I think they could have done a little bit more, but overall, they're still fine. I have them in the playoffs. So, yeah. And at number 1, of course, is the Atlanta Braves. I don't think there's much else to say here. Again, with this team, it's the Braves. Like, they're amazing. They have an amazing core, an amazing team, and just everything about this team right now is pretty incredible. They're clearly the second best team in the NL. They have been for a long, long time. So, yeah, I'm not gonna spend too much time on the Braves here because we all know how amazing they are. They have arguably the best player in the league in Ronald Acuna Jr., last year's MVP. Amazing pitchers in Spencer Strider, Max Fried. Their bullpen got even better this year. So, yeah, they didn't add much. They added Chris Sale, was a nice get, I think. Reynaldo Lopez, who's an interesting get. Same with Jared Kelenic, a very interesting buy. So, yeah, we'll be seeing what happens with the Braves this year. And, yeah, honestly, gonna see how the new additions perform, and I'm gonna be interested. So, yeah, there we go. After that, now we have in the NL Central. We're going to start off with number 5. Now, number 5 might be a controversial take, but I want to make it clear that I think all the teams in the NL Central are kind of bunched together. I think they're all kind of on the same level right now. And for number 5, for me, in the NL Central is going to be the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, I know a lot of people are very high on the Pirates. I know a lot of people have them being the number 2 or 3 team in the Central, but that's just not me personally. I'm not very high on them. I think mainly it's their pitching. Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, nice guys, but other than that, I just don't think there's much there. Marco Gonzalez, you've signed some other people as well who are just kind of mediocre that I just don't think the Pirates pitching is going to do enough, and I just think it's going to be abysmal, to be honest. I think their hitters are good, but I don't think there's any true superstars there. I think O'Neal Cruz is really good. I think Henry Davis is really good, but I'm just not entirely sure if anyone is going to separate themselves from the pack as being the real superstar in this team. So, yeah, I think the Pirates are good, but I think all the teams in the NL Central are good, and that's why I do have them at number 5. Again, I don't look at them as a last-place team. I just think it's where they find themselves in the division right now. Number 4, I have the Milwaukee Brewers. Milwaukee Brewers have gone under a lot of changes this offseason, specifically with the pitching staff. They were known for having elite pitching staffs all throughout their time as being on top of the Central, mainly with Corbin Burnes and Brandon Woodruff. Burnes got traded to the Orioles, and Woodruff's out for the year. So, yeah, it's definitely a big changes in Milwaukee. They traded win-now guys as well, like Mark Canha, to give their younger bats more playing time. So, yeah, I think they're going to be good in the future, but I think this year is going to be more of a retooling year, rebuilding year, where they try to figure out who's a keeper and who's not. I think they have some nice players on this team, like Jackson Chourio, Sal Frelick, Tyler Black, but I don't think anyone is going to be good enough to make them better. I think the pitching staff's not that good as well, with Freddie Peralta being your ace. So, yeah, just not very high in the Brewers for me, and I do expect them to finish 4th in the NL Central. Number 3 here, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, I've talked about how much I hate the Cardinals organization many times in this show, mainly because of the hitting core. The hitting core is so amazing. Like, you have so many great young hitters in this lineup. You have veteran guys as well, like two former MVPs in Arenado and Goldschmidt. So, yeah, their lineup is incredible. It's just their pitching is so bad. It's so bad. Sonny Gray was your only big ad, and he's even mediocre himself. I mean, I shouldn't say that, actually. That's my apologies. But Sonny Gray's really good. But other than that, you have Miles Michaelis, Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson. Like, that. Just no. Why are you adding these guys to this team? You have such a good hitting core. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So I think Sonny Gray was a great ad. I think that their hitting core is amazing, but Sonny Gray's already hurt. They've already lost some guys with the hitting core, especially Dylan Carlson. So I was debating them putting them even lower than 3, but I just think their hitting's too good for that. Sorry about that. For them to be higher. So yeah, not a fan of the Cardinals. And yeah, number 2 and 1 I went a lot back and forth on here. But I decided on number 2 being the Chicago Cubs. I think the Cubs have a lot of good players. I think they had some nice ads this offseason with Craig Counsell as their manager. I think Shota Imanaga was a good ad. Hector Neris was a good ad. It was a nice job bringing back Cody Bellinger. But I don't think they did enough to really make themselves a significantly better team. I think, again, these ads were good, but I don't think there was any superstar that you added, which I did think you needed to add someone. I think you have a lot of good players, but I think you needed to add someone bigger. I think it's a good team overall, but I don't think it stands out in the pack of the NL. So that's just my personal thoughts there. Again, I think they're a really good team. I think I was very close to putting them in the playoffs and in the NL Central crown, but ultimately I decided that I think the Reds are better, and that is who I have winning the NL Central. If you've heard this podcast a lot, you know how much I love the Reds. I've talked about their team a lot and how good and young I think their team is. They've gotten hit hard by the injury bug, I will say. You've had Noelvi Marte, you had Christian Arroyo, Matt McClain, all be out for a significant amount of time. One of those is a PED injury, suspension, but you get the idea. But other than that, I still think their team is really good. I still think the young players they have in this team are pretty amazing. Ellie De La Cruz, Spencer Steer, Christian Encarnacion Strand. Jake Fraley's really good. I think the pitching's going to take a big step up. Nick Lodolo, Hunter Green, Frankie Montas, Graham Ashcraft, Nick Martinez. I think they're all really good, and I think the bullpen's going to be really nice. So overall, I am high in the Reds. Not as high as I once was with the injury, specifically in Matt McClain, who I was banking on a big season from. But I still think they're going to win the Central. But I think it's going to be really close to the Cubs, and I'm feeling less confident about this pick now with the injuries. But I still think that it is going to. Still think they are going to be a really good team. Going to the NL West here, we are starting off with number 5. Pretty clearly, it is the Colorado Rockies. I'm not saying anything too crazy here. The Rockies are really bad. Teams in the NL West are really good. Just going to move on after that. So, yeah. They don't have that many amazing qualities. If you watch, I have a segment on the Rockies from a few days ago. So if you want to go in the playlist on my show and want to look and find the Rockies one and hear me talking about the Rockies for a good 12, 13 minutes, you can. So if you want to hear Rockies praise, but I don't have any right now. For number 4, maybe a surprise to people, but I have the San Francisco Giants. Now, I think the Giants are an amazing team. I think they're an 85-win level team, talent-wise, but I just think the teams above them are better. I think they added a lot this offseason, really good players as well. Just not anyone. I just don't think they're better than teams above them, simply put. Like, there's really not much for me to say about flaws of this team. I mean, flaws, obviously, the pitching staff, with so many players being hurt, but even so, I mean, guys like Kyle Harrison, you signed Blake Snell, Logan Webb, you have some good guys to fill in. It's just, I think there's too many really great stars missing out. So, yeah, not the biggest on the Giants. Number 3, I have the San Diego Padres. Now, I went back and forth with the Padres and the Giants, but overall, I did pick the Giants I did pick the Padres because of pitching. I think the Padres have significantly better pitching than the Giants. I think with the addition of Dylan Cease, you're already having Michael King, Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove. I think it makes their pitching staff so much more deeper, so much better. And yeah, I'm really high in this Padres pitching staff. If you watch yesterday's episode, I have Tatis winning the MVP, so I think he'll help this team as well. Machado, Ha-Seong Kim, Xander Bogaerts, also great players. Jackson Merrill coming up. So I think a lot's going right for the Padres this year, and I do think they are going to be in the playoffs, and I have them as the number 3 team in the NL West. Again, really close to them and the Giants, but overall I did pick them over them. Number 2, I have the defending NL champion, Arizona Diamondbacks. I love what the Diamondbacks did this offseason, even more now that they signed Jordan Montgomery. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, very, 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 very happy about that. So, yeah, overall, I think the Diamondbacks are a great team, and I think that their offseason they had was very, very good, and I'm really, really high in them going into the year, maybe a little bit higher than most people. So, yeah, I think they're going to be very close with the Dodgers. I think they're clearly the third best team in the NL. I'm very, very high in this Diamondbacks team, and I think they're going to do very, very well. And number 1, of course, is the Dodgers. I don't have to say anything about the Dodgers. We know how good they are. Really, that's kind of it. So, I haven't said my World Series prediction yet, which I will now, I guess. I think it's the correct time. I am going to be boring, and we'll be picking the Dodgers and Astros, and I'll be picking Astros in 7. Sorry, I just think those 2 teams are the most well-suited for the playoffs. I think the Dodgers are now with the additions to the pitching staff they made. I think the Astros always are great. So, yeah, going to go with the boring pick. Sorry, don't know what to tell you. I'll probably give an update on that throughout the season as it goes on, probably at the All-Star break and trade deadline and all that stuff. So, yeah, that's it. So, thank you for watching the second segment. We'll be going to our third segment here, which is going to be talking about 5 opening day matchups to watch. When we come back, I'll be giving you another update on what's going on opening day. The Yankees game is about to start, so I'm sure I'll be giving updates on that because it is the Yankees, and we'll be seeing Juan Soto. So, yeah, we'll be talking about that there, and we'll be going to our third segment here after the break. So, thanks, and see you after that. Bye.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our third segment. Now, I mentioned that before the break, I would update you on opening day games happening right now. Only one is currently on. There's a lot of games in warm-up, which we'll be talking about in the next segment, going over it at the end. But yes, so I talked about it before, how the Orioles were winning 2-1. They're now winning 5-1, with Adley Rutschman hitting a 2 RBI single, and Anthony Santander hitting a sacrifice fly to make it 5-1 Baltimore. Jordan Westerberg is up right now with a man on first and second with 2 outs. So, yeah, I think it's pretty clear that the Orioles lineup is going to be a problem this year. They're very, very good, and yeah, not much else to say there. So I'm going to be talking here about 5 opening day matchups I'll be watching as opening weekend does go on. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So first one I'll be watching is Mets-Brewers. Now, Mets-Brewers was supposed to happen today. It probably would have been over by now. It was supposed to happen at 1:10, but it got rained out because it is New York and it rains. So yeah, but I'm really interested to watch this matchup for a few reasons. One, the Mets. I mean, they've had a lot of turmoil this offseason and a lot of new additions. So you're going to be watching guys like Harrison Bader. You'll be watching guys come back like Starling Marte, Brendan Nimmo, who had an injury at the end of the year. And I just want to see how the new look Mets are. They have a lot of different pitchers. The organization is a lot different as well. So overall, I'm just excited to watch this new Mets team, and just seeing how their season does start off. So yeah, I'm really interested to just, again, watch them, see how they do perform, and see if the new organization, with all the changes they've had this offseason, do help them improve. So yeah. I don't know what that was. Sorry. Sometimes I just talk so fast I run over my words. They are playing the Milwaukee Brewers, who I'm also interested in watching a lot. Obviously, they have also went through a lot of turmoil this offseason, a lot of changes, trading Corbin Burns, having Brandon Woodruff be out for the year, trading Mark Canha, having your young guys coming up, extending one of your young guys in Jackson Chourio. So, yeah, I think the Brewers have a lot of things to figure out this season, and I'm interested to see how their season does start. I'm interested to see their guys and who's playing well and all that. So, yeah, just really interested to watch the Brewers, and this matchup is good because both teams went through a lot this offseason, went through a lot of changes, and personally for me as a baseball fan, I'm excited to watch them. I'm excited to see what turns out well, what doesn't. So, yeah, that's kind of it there. After that, we of course are going to be talking about the Yankees and Astros. That game does start in 4 minutes, so if any updates do happen, again, I'll let you know in the last segment. Part of that will be mentioned by me. So yeah, Yankees. I think it's pretty clear why we want to watch this matchup. 2 words come to mind: Juan Soto. I mean, it's Juan Soto, one of the biggest trades in MLB history. Him going to the Yankees of all teams. So yeah. It's going to be very interesting to watch his tenure in New York, and for however long it is, if it's a year, if it's more than a year, but with a different team, we'll see what happens with that. So, yeah, honestly, very excited to watch Soto and the Yankees. They also have some other additions like Marcus Stroman, who I want to watch. So, yeah, they also have younger guys like Clayton Beeter. Just overall, a newer Yankees team. And I'm just really excited to watch this team and see how the season does play out for them. After that, I don't know why I said after that. Sorry. They're playing the Astros, who I am also interested to watch. Obviously, they went to the AL Championship game, and AL Championship Series, I should say, and lost. So I'm trying to see how they defend their crown after that. They had a really nice offseason, in my opinion, adding the best closer in baseball to an already stacked bullpen in Josh Hader. I think was a great addition, and probably having the best back end of the bullpen in all of baseball. You go from Brian Abreu to Ryan Presley to Josh Hader. If your pitcher gives you 6 good innings, I think the game's pretty much shut from there. So, yeah, I'm really interested in watching the Astros team and what does end up happening with them this year and how they end up performing. So, yeah, not much else to say here. I think the Astros is always a very tantalizing team and a team everyone wants to watch. So excited to see how they do this year, and just excited to watch them and see what happens with them. Next, we have Cubs-Rangers. So with the Cubs, I'm interested in watching all of their new additions. First of all, I'm interested to see how Craig Counsell looks as a Cub going over from his division rival, Milwaukee Brewers. So that'll be interesting to see if his managing style changes in any way. I don't think it will, but it is a new team. So after that, new additions like Shota Imanaga, who I want to watch. I want to see how Hector Neris performs. I want to see Seiya Suzuki's year. How does Nico Horner play? Dansby Swanson. So, yeah, I think the Cubs run through a lot of different changes this offseason. Most of them were good, in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued to see what the Cubs do in this opening series and how they do start out the season. I think they're a very nice team to watch, and just to see what is going to happen this year. So with them, so yeah, interested to watch them and how they are going to start the season off with their team. Playing them, we have the defending world champion Texas Rangers. I don't think there's any debate why I'm interested in watching the Rangers. The Rangers are very, very good, and they are the defending world champions, so I want to see how their title defense goes. They have a lot of great young players, so I want to watch, like Wyatt Langford, of course, my guy Wyatt Langford, Evan Carter as well. So, yeah, I want to see how the Rangers title defense goes, and I want to see how the young players perform. And overall, I just think it's going to be a very interesting matchup for opening day and a very fun matchup as well. So I'll be interested to watch this game, and I'll be giving you guys updates on what does happen. So, yeah. After that, we have Twins-Royals in AL Central matchup. So first for the Twins, they didn't do much this offseason, but I'm just interested to see how their guys do come back. Carlos Correa, Byron Buxton mainly. I want to see how these guys perform, how they start their season off. Does it get off to a good start? Try and build off of the disappointment that was last year for both of them. Correa did better at the end, and Buxton, while he didn't have a bad season, did not play center field at all. So if he wants to stay healthy, he's going to have to do a lot for it. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how the Twins do perform in this new year, how the overall team is, and, yeah, just what's going to happen with them and how they do end up playing. So, yeah, really, that's just about it for them. So, yeah, I think they had a really underwhelming offseason, as I said, but I think it was fine for them because of the young players that do have filling in spots. So, overall, I'll just be watching Correa and Buxton mostly and seeing how the team performed as a whole. After that, they are playing their AL Central rivals, Kansas City Royals. Now, with the Royals, there's a lot to want to watch. First of all, how the new additions perform. Hunter Renfroe, Adam Frazier, Will Smith, Chris Stratton, Seth Lugo, if he does pitch this opening weekend, same with Michael Wacha. So that's going to be fun to watch. And how will their young players perform after last year as well? Bobby Witt, Vinny Pasquantino, MJ Melendez, Michael Garcia. So, yeah, I think just overall there's a lot to watch in this Royals team. You, of course, want to watch Cole Reagans as well, who I've talked about many times as being an amazing pitcher. So, yeah, just I think a very intriguing matchup for both these teams. A very nice AL Central matchup, and that one I'm really interested in watching. So, yeah, that's about it. Here we go. Last, of course, we have the Angels and Orioles. Already a lot has happened with this game, as it is 5-1 Orioles, so I think I was proven right already. So, yeah. With the Angels first, they went through a lot of turnover this offseason, of course, with the best player in baseball leaving their team, Shohei Ohtani. Also, didn't really add much. They've had a lot of interesting situations, we should say, with their superstar third baseman. Well, then superstar third baseman, Anthony Rendon. He's definitely not a superstar anymore with the seasons he's had over the past few years. So, yeah, what's just going to happen with this Angels team and how will they perform? So, that's honestly what I'm interested in and interested in watching and seeing what does happen. So, yeah. They are playing the Orioles, who added a lot this offseason, which I would be very happy about if I'm an Orioles fan. Corbin Burns is a great add. You added Craig Kimbrell as well, which was nice. So, yeah, other than that, I just think that the Orioles have an amazing young team. They won 101 games last year, and building off of that, it's going to be very fun to watch this team going into the year and watching them and how they do perform. So, yeah, very, very interesting to see how this Orioles team will play and see how they end up performing with all these young players and the expectations of last year now, new ownership as well, acquiring superstar pitchers. So, yeah, we're going over that, and I'll be interested to talk about that game tomorrow. So that was our third segment, talking about some opening day matchups I'll be watching. We'll be going to our fourth segment, which is going to be about some general news stories around the league, including in that I'll be recapping at the end the games that are going on right now and some news that has happened. I just saw Royce Lewis hit a home run on my phone. I saw it on my phone, so yeah, I guess that's going to be part of it. We just talked about the Twins and the Royals game, and Twins and Royals, Royce Lewis already made it 1-0. So, yeah, we'll be talking about these games, and we'll be talking about some other news stories around the league. So we'll see you after the break, and we'll talk to you then. Bye. Thanks.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fourth and final segment, which is going to be about some general news stories around the league that I did want to touch upon right before we get to opening day. So we are at opening day, I guess, but yeah, we'll be talking about these, and then we'll be recapping the games that are going on right now. So let's get straight into it. So the first one we have is a trade by the Guardians. They have acquired reliever Peter Strzelecki from the Arizona Diamondbacks. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I think I am, but the Diamondbacks acquired him at the deadline for Andrew Chafin, kind of a younger reliever guy, but I guess he wouldn't make their MLB roster this year, so they trade him to the Guardians, who are in desperate need of some bullpen depth right now with a lot of their guys getting hurt. So I think it was a good move by the Guardians to get some more bullpen depth in Strzelecki, a guy who has shown some potential in the past. So yeah, I'm really excited about this move. I was a Guardians fan. I think it brings a much-needed depth to this team. And overall, it's just a really nice move by them, really filling out the edges. The Reds have re-signed Mike Ford to a minor league contract. Just solid move by them. Mike Ford's just a good pinch hitter guy who can fill in a pinch. I didn't mean it like that, but yeah, just good overall depth for this young Reds team that I think needed it after a lot of injuries going on right now. So yeah, I think it was a solid move by the Reds. Nothing to write home about, but I think it was a fine move. The Pirates have DFA'd Cannon Smith and Jigba, Jackson Wolf, and Ollie Sanchez, just doing some roster cleaning before their roster does become official today, as it did. Cannon Smith and Jigba came back after a short vacation in Seattle. After they DFA'd him, he got picked up by Seattle to be with his brother Jackson, who plays for the Seattle Seahawks. Go Buckeyes, by the way. And then got claimed off waivers from the Pirates again. So they gave him a little vacation to see his brother, I guess. And now they're DFAing him again. But I think he could be a solid outfield depth for a team. Yeah, I think he's a guy. Sorry about that. I think he's a guy that brings a good depth to a team. Is just a fine player overall, and yeah, I think any team that has him would be lucky with him. So yeah, Ollie Sanchez is also good catching depth. Was a former Mets prospect a while ago. He's a good defense first guy, good number 3 catcher on a depth chart. So could also be picked up. The Diamondbacks have DFA'd Emmanuel Rivera. Emmanuel Rivera was a guy who played a lot of minutes for them over at third base. I'm saying minutes like his basketball, but I guess that's kind of true. A lot of innings over there at third base for the Diamondbacks last year, especially in the World Series and the playoffs. So it isn't too surprising because they have a replacement now in Eugenio Suarez. But I think Rivera is good depth for any team that needs some third base depth and midfield depth in general. So yeah, I think Emmanuel Rivera could see to be valuable for a team that needs some depth. And yeah, I'm interested to see where he does end up landing. And again, would be a fine pickup to any team that does need something. So yeah. After that, we have the Mariners DFAing Taylor Trammell. Taylor Trammell was a guy who I was very high on a few years ago. Was a big-time prospect, the Reds, and then the Padres, and then with the Mariners. Did not really work out with any of them. Just was not to be mean, but he's been kind of a bust now, and I think the Mariners are finally giving up on him, DFAing him. I think any team can pick him up. I think he will be a good addition to a team like the A's, who are known to pick up former top prospects who have kind of flailed out in their MLB careers. But I think Trammell could potentially still have something left in the tank. I think it is possible, and I'll be interested to see if he does land on his feet somewhere. And it is a guy who does have a lot of potential still in that bat, in that body. So I think could be a nice pickup for any team that needs some outfield depth, especially for what he used to be as a prospect. A little update on the Wander Franco situation from ESPN and Jeff Passan. So Jeff Passan is reporting that they put Wander Franco back on the administrative leave list after his administrative leave expired. The exact thing is that he will be placed on the administrative leave through June 1st, per an agreement between MLB and LBPA. His status could change if there is something that goes on with the proceedings in the Dominican Republic and his trial there, but I don't think that will happen for a little while. Yeah, not too surprising here about Wander Franco. I doubt if he ever plays in the MLB again with the things he is accused of. So, yeah, not going to get too deep into this because it is it is a law situation, a legal situation that I don't know enough about. I've seen what everyone else has seen, the evidence against him, which is, it's not great, but again, he is only accused right now, so I'm not gonna say much of that, but doesn't really look great for him for his future, I'll say that. The Rangers have selected Jared Walsh from the AAA roster, and he will be on their opening day roster. Really happy for him, honestly. This is a guy who, with the Angels a few years ago, was an all-star. Came out of nowhere to be a really, really great first baseman for the Angels. Big lefty hitting power bat, and was looking like a core part of this Angels team for a while, and then just got hit with injuries, came back, didn't do well, got non-tendered after 2 mediocre seasons, and was trying hard to find a new spot. Found the Rangers, and now making the MLB roster. I don't think he's anything special, but I think what you've seen him do in the past, there could potentially still be something there left for Jared Walsh in the tank with the MLB. So, yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see what happens with Jared Walsh and his MLB career, and overall what is going to happen with him and how he does perform with the Rangers. So, yeah, definitely something to watch here. 2 shortstop pieces of news here, both from the NL West. First, we have the Giants. They optioned Marco Luciano to AAA and will not be on the opening day roster. Honestly, really surprising to me. I was betting on Luciano being the starting shortstop for the entire league, for the entire year for the Giants, but I assume they don't think he's ready yet, which I guess it could just be some service time manipulation, but we'll see in the future. So, yeah, I think Luciano's a really good player, and I think he's a really good prospect for San Francisco. I think he's going to be a big part of this Giants team going forward, and I do expect him to be up sooner rather than later for this MLB team. So, yeah, not much to say there. I think Luciano's a really good player, and I am surprised that he was optioned to the minor leagues. The Diamondbacks placed top prospect Jordan Lawler on the IL with a thumb injury, and he will miss a couple of months. This is a big blow to the Diamondbacks, in my opinion. I think Lawler was going to be the guy who was filling in at their shortstop position for most of the year. It's not a big blow to the MLB team yet because they have Geraldo Perdomo there, who is a good stopgap, who is a fine player. But I think Lawler would have brought a lot more potential to that position, a lot better performance. So I'd be a little disappointed if I was a Diamondbacks fan. I think this is a guy who is going to be very, very good in the future. So overall, not much else to say there, but so it does suck if you're a Diamondbacks fan. So that is the general news here. I'm going to be talking about the MLB games that are going on right now, just telling you if anything notable has happened, and then we'll be ending our show here. First, with the Yankees in the top of the first, we have Gleyber Torres striking out, Juan Soto walking. Of course he walked. This guy's insane, man. And then Aaron Judge hit into a double play, so it is 0-0 Astros Yankees in the bottom of the first. A game I think every baseball fan will be watching. So it's still 5-1 Orioles in the top of the fourth now. Reds and Nationals 0-0. Giants Padres 0-0. We have Rays 1-0. Yandy Diaz hit the first RBI of the season for the Rays, having a solo home run to open up the bottom of the first for the Rays, leading off. So great job by Yandy Diaz and great job by the Rays to start off the season well on a good note. Mike, I talked about Royce Lewis hitting a home run for the Twins. Well, Michael Garcia just answered back to it, hitting a solo home run of his own for the Royals, starting off what should be an exciting season for them, with all the additions they've had. So, yeah, if you're a Royals fan, I'd be excited, and just overall good for them. Again, they're finally having a vision for this team, so I'd be excited if I was a Royals fan. After that, it's 0-0 in all the other games. Cubs, Rangers, Guardians, A's, Rockies, Diamondbacks, Red Sox, Mariners are all coming up tonight. I'll definitely be watching those, and will be glued to my TV screen, seeing what's going to happen with them. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching today's show. Happy opening day. Again, remember to follow us anywhere you can get content and updates. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Again, thank you so much for watching. Have a great baseball season, you guys. Keep watching my show. Keep updated. Keep updated with the season. So, yeah, we'll be talking about the season. We'll be talking about the season all year long. It's only episode 1. It'll only get better. So, again, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see what baseball throws at us tomorrow, and see you guys later. Bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great.